Hi, this is Gina. Lovely to connect with you again. And today I'm in Upton in Berkshire, which is right next door to beautiful Datchet, and a few minutes drive from Eton and Windsor, or pleasant walk from Eton and Windsor. These days the villages of Datchet and Upton come under Slough. But right in front of me is Upton's beautiful and old country church, St. Laurence, on Upton Court Road. In the 12th century, the wooden parish church of Upton was replaced with a flint building. The tower and outside walls of the Norman building form part of the present church. Two other Norman features survived until today, namely the ancient baptismal font and a piscina. During the Reformation, many of the ancient decorations were mutilated. A 13th century Italian image of the Trinity survived, God, Father, Son and Holy Spirit, and was reassembled during a later restoration of the church. In the early 19th century, the building had deteriorated and it was almost demolished had it not been for a farmer who secured the outside walls and the tower. Ultimately, St. Laurence's was restored and rededicated in December 1851. But I'm here today because St. Laurence's is the final resting place of the astronomer Sir William Herschel, who passed away 200 years ago in 1822 and who discovered Uranus, which made him famous overnight. His grave is inside the church, and there is also a new glass window commemorating him and his discoveries. He was born in Hanover, but moved to England at the age of 19, together with his brother. In view of French hostilities looming, their father suggested their relocation to England to avoid his sons becoming needless fatalities in a senseless war. There's a lovely film about William Herschel by the American director George Sibley. The title is William Herschel and the Universe. It can be rented or purchased through Amazon for under £10. It could make an interesting present for somebody. The actor playing William is in fact a descendant of the family, a different branch of the family that moved to Norway. William Herschel lived in Bristol and Bath, but ultimately moved to Datchet and then Upton. In fact, he moved to Upton Road, number 74, and the house is still standing. The road is just across the street from this church. William appears to have been a lovely person, who after the death of his father liberated his sister from their mother, who had different ideas, and found her very useful around the house. He brought Caroline to England and introduced her to his hobby, astronomy. Originally, William was into music, and he was teaching music, and the film's background music is one of William's compositions. George III appointed him court astronomer, which is how William came to live in this neighbourhood, because he was required to live close to Windsor Palace. I'm just turning around to show you a little bit more of the neighbourhood. There's a big roundabout so it's a little bit noisy here. Anyway, Caroline became William's assistant and recorder, often taking notes while he observed at the telescope. She also began making her own astronomical discoveries, particularly comets. For her work as William's assistant, she was ultimately granted an annual salary of £50 by George III. Her appointment made her the first female in England to be honoured with a government position. It also made her the first woman to be given a salary as an astronomer. In 1828 she was awarded the gold medal of the Royal Astronomical Society for her work. There's a plane going overhead because we're not far from Heathrow Airport, so it will be a little bit noisy. Sorry about that. Anyway, after William's death, Caroline remained in England for another few years. However, due to poor health, ultimately she returned to Germany, where after her own passing, she received a state funeral in view of her having left her own mark as an astronomer. William Herschel's work was continued by his only son, John Herschel. And I'm showing you some of the old gravestones. Fascinating, beautiful. So much love expressed by those who were left behind. Anyway, maybe I've interested you in visiting this church. You can easily come here by train. The Elizabeth line is now connected and fully opened and provides a fast service to and from Slough station, which is a 20 minutes walk to St. Laurence's Church in Upton Court Road. Alternatively, you could come by car, but parking is not so easy unless you come on a Sunday. Maybe combine your visit with a church service. Church services on Sundays are at 11 a.m. for 1 hour. And this would also enable you to see the interior of the church and William's grave near the altar. He was also married in this church and is lovingly considered a son of Slough. Isn't that wonderful? I find that very touching. A park has been named after him in Slough. A grammar school, a sports centre, a street, even a lovely pub cum restaurant, the Herschel Arms at number 22 Park Street, Slough. The postcode is SL1 1PS. In case you want to pop in and perhaps complete your experience visiting this church with a lovely pub meal. Anyway, what a wonderful life full of achievements William was able to enjoy, and how different it could have been if his father had not encouraged his two sons to avoid being called to fight in one of the many wars of the time. Also, what a different life for his sister Caroline, who could have easily spent her life as her mother's housekeeper instead of the interesting life she was able to live due to her brother and the subsequent honours and acknowledgements she received. Food for thought. Anyway, it's a late winter's day, December. You can just see the sun's rays in front of us. It's very frosty. There's frost on the ground, and maybe we will have snow tonight. I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to William Herschel, and I would really recommend that you see the film. It's so enjoyable. Bye for now.